Good evening and welcome to the Village Board meeting for the Village of Pleasantville. Today is Monday, January 11. As has been the case for all these many months, we continue to meet remotely via Zoom. You can pick up the Zoom links to this meeting and to any of the other meetings of our boards and commissions at pleasantville-ny.gov. I encourage you, as always, to sign up in the left-hand column for notes and agendas. That will allow you to receive automatically by email notifications and agendas for board meetings that would allow you to sign in. But failing that, you can always get the Zoom link at pleasantville-ny.gov. So I have a bunch of announcements to make, but I will hold those for the moment because we have a happy occasion tonight, which is to honor the good work of James Charletti, who has been an officer in the Pleasantville Police Department and is now formally being promoted to detective. And as I know that lots of you probably know, also in this grid of images is the parents of James. Tony Charletti, a long standing officer and ultimately chief of the Pleasantville Police Department, now retired. It's our great pleasure to think that the sort of longevity that Tony represented has been replicated in the next generation. And I don't know if that falls into the category of a prediction, James, that at some point in the future you'll be the chief, but who knows?
I'm good for now, but we'll see.
All right. With that, I invite our police chief, Eric Rutzner, to comment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity. So good evening, Mayor Scheer, village trustees, village administrator Morrissey, members, families, and friends of the Pleasantville Police Department and the Pleasantville community. Thank you all for tuning into tonight's board meeting to be a part of the reassignment of James Charletti to detective. Now, normally this would be an in-person ceremony that would be well attended by members of the department, James's family and friends, various other people who wish to see James be rewarded for all his hard work with a gold shield. Normally, first I would give a speech, and then James and his wife Aileen would be invited to come forward so she could pin his new shield on his chest, despite the fact that every officer's wife who has ever tried to do this in the past has failed. Once that was done, everyone would be invited to stay for the public hearing regarding parking restrictions on Irving Street, but we would not. Of course, like everything else, we've had to adjust our procedure, and so we will do our best to make this as memorable for James as it would have been in person. The process of earning a gold shield is steeped in tradition in our profession. It represents an accomplishment that, if done correctly, is based on the officer's aptitude, attitude, and dedication. Luckily for me and this department, there are many officers who qualify for this assignment on those grounds, and many investigations have been handled superbly by officers in the patrol division. But tonight, we're here for James. As most everyone in attendance is aware, James's father, Tony, was the chief in Pleasantville for almost 20 years. He was the chief who not only hired me, but both the lieutenants and many of the officers working in the department today. James was a fixture in the department from his earliest days when Bernadette would bring him and Anthony in to see their dad at work. James has grown up not only in this town, but in this department. The fact is, when I look at James, I see a lot of myself at this point in his career. For the last 6.5 years, James has been honest and earnest, and he always used his interactions with the public as an opportunity to improve the department's image. His sense of humor made him easy to be around, and his work ethic earned the respect of the people whose respect would be the hardest to earn. But being well-liked and even well-respected as a patrol officer does not mean you will automatically make a good detective. Over the past few years, we've begun a process under which police officers are not immediately made a detective, but spend time in that division while still a police officer. While that's not the way it has always been done, it has nothing to do with the officer and everything to do with the job they are walking into. The changes that come with being a detective are far more than a better schedule or being able to work in plain clothes. The responsibilities of being a detective are far-reaching, and those responsibilities require a completely new mindset. When I was new to Pleasantville, I was very interested in doing investigations, but I never earned that opportunity under Chief Charletti. In the end, that was for the best. First of all, many people who worked in the detective division early in my career were some of the best police officers I've ever worked with. But just as importantly, I now know that at that time, I did not fundamentally understand the level of commitment required to be a good detective. Every detective knows, and James and Aileen can undoubtedly already attest, working in the detective division means you are never completely off duty. In addition to being on call, there's always a chance of an unexpected break in a case that comes late in your shift and takes you away from your family. In addition, detectives don't have the luxury of turning a scene over to the next shift. When you go on vacation, it's more than likely you'll be taking calls while you are away, and everything that you left on your desk is still waiting for you when you get back. You will build and nurture relationships of all kinds to be more responsive and to make your job easier and better. And you will be required to intimately deal with people, from victims to witnesses to suspects, on some of the worst days of their lives. Lieutenant Woolman, Lieutenant Liswan, and I were very confident that James was up to the task when we transferred him into the detective division. In the months that James has worked in the division prior to tonight, he has proved more than capable in solving cases, juggling responsibilities, and handling the complexities of investigations. We've also had a number of unusual incidents that required a delicate handling of people and information, and James has shown tact and compassion beyond his years. He has embraced the requirements of his new position and become an important resource for everyone in the department. His direct supervisors wholeheartedly support him for this appointment. So tonight, James, we make it official. Thank you for all your hard work to this point. I'm looking forward to your continued contributions to the department and to the residents of the village going forward. And I know you will do a better job than I ever would have. So, James, do you have the shield?
No.
All right, hold that for just one moment, given the multi-generational aspect of this. Grandparents, parents, and baby. Tony and Bernadette, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I just, like to say I have a great deal of faith in James, not only as a father, but as a chief, because he not only did he come into the police station, but he also got put to work a few times on non-critical things. But, he did help out here and there occasionally. But I think two things I really like to point out. One is I'd like to offer my thanks to Chief Grutzner, Lieutenant Woolman, Lieutenant Liswan for all they've done to mentor James in his time in the police department, and all the other officers and supervisors he works with. The other piece I like to just say is offer my thanks to the mayor, the board, and to the community for putting the faith in James to do the job that I know he's going to do, which is an excellent one. And lastly, I just want to point out that we speak about the law enforcement background in our family, or my side, or James's side of the family, but also the young lady sitting next to James, his wife Aileen. Her father, late father, was probably one of the most highly regarded detective sergeants in the NYPD counterterrorism unit. So we got a little depth beyond just us here. So when Aileen pins that on, I'm sure there's going to be a special place in her heart for her dad also, who can't be here with us other than looking down upon us. But thank you again. We really appreciate it, and we know we're going to get we're going to have a good guy out there doing a job that he's supposed to be doing.
Thank you, Tony, Chief Emeritus Charletti. And thank you, Aileen. I did not know about that piece of your family history, but am both pleased to honor the memory of your dad and pleased to know about the extra roots that I already knew existed on this Charletti family tree. So, James, if you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, James Charletti.
I, James Charletti.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the State of New York.
The Constitution of the State of New York.
And the Code of the Village of Pleasantville.
And the Code of the Village of Pleasantville.
And that I will faithfully discharge.
And that I will faithfully discharge.
The duty of detectives.
The duty of detectives.
For the Village of Pleasantville Police Department.
For the Village of Pleasantville Police Department.
According to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability.
Detective Charletti, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, Aileen, here's the challenge.
It could hurt. Was that James or a baby? Eric and Noreen, I want to thank you also. You guys are, you've been doing an excellent job, and want to put our thanks into you too.
Well, good job, Aileen. I think you may be top of the heap in the history of wedding ceremonies, and especially impressive to have your attention split to a 7-week-old kid. So,
we applaud now, even though it's a Zoom meeting.
yeah, let's applaud.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
James.
as the chief already said, it's painful to be having to do this in this format, but the list of participants is long. Your colleagues and your friends have shown up as they would have had been able to do this in person, which is evidence of what we already knew, that this Pleasantville guy is going to do a great job for Pleasantville for a very long time. So we deeply appreciate your service, congratulate you on the formal promotion, and congratulate your entire family, and especially the proud grandparents on this growing police dynasty.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. The rest of our meeting, as the chief already alluded, is thrilling. If you'd all like to hang on, the next is a public hearing on parking restrictions, but we will not take it as an affront if you bail now that we've done the good work that we have just done.
Yeah, I'm traumatized by all the other ones I had to attend in the 19 years. So it's, I don't want to bring bad memories back.
It's a long process to work through it, Tony, believe me.
Oh, I'm sure.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations all. And thank you not only
Congratulations.
to the team,
Thank you.
but to Lieutenant Woolman and to Lieutenant Liswan, both in attendance here, who play such a big role in shaping the future of a department. So thank you, Jesse and John. So
Thank you.
Congratulations, James.
just
Thank you very much.
all right. With that, we're going to move to some less exciting stuff. I mentioned that I had some announcements to make. The first is unfortunately the lead subject for so long, which is our COVID status. As I have reported for some weeks running, we continue to see a spike in COVID activity. I'm going to share my screen here so that you can all right, you folks see what I have here?
Yep.
So Westchester County has set up this COVID-19 dashboard. You can get to this COVID-19 dashboard with a link that's on our website at pleasantville-ny.gov in the left-hand column. And you can also get to it on the county site, westchestergov.com. But it is now a dramatically improved means of people finding out what's going on. In the left-hand column are each of the 45 municipalities that make up Westchester County. And when you click on Pleasantville, you have, as you see down here, 3 tabs: active, new cases, and cumulative. So as of right now, Pleasantville has 54 active cases. The painful and disturbing number that arrived today is that in the report we received today, Monday, since Friday, we added 14 new cases to our list. And then cumulative is the total number of cases since the system started tracking them. In our case, painfully this weekend, we crested 400. So this is an easy means of folks keeping track of what's going on, not only in the village of Pleasantville, but elsewhere in Westchester County to compare what's going on for us to what's going on for others. And then over on the right-hand side, you can see these charts that indicate the flow of new positive cases per day. Here back in April, obviously the summer got better, and come the fall, it's ramped up again. I can report that although it looks as though overall, the number of new positive cases per day, although it has spiked dramatically to about 1,000, was actually higher back in April. In the village of Pleasantville specifically, it was not higher than it is now back in April. The numbers we're seeing right now, both in terms of the total number of active cases and the number of new cases we're seeing on a daily basis, substantially exceed what we saw in the worst of it in the spring. So that falls into the category of a warning sign for all of us. The total tested positive here in Westchester, currently 5.1. At one point, that number was below 1%. So stuff is spiking, bad news all the way around, and it is crystal clear that we need to be very, very, very careful. I know so many people have been, but I can also report, as perhaps all of us can, there are plenty of circumstances when we see activity that isn't as good as it needs to be. Part of that is the importance of mask wearing in every circumstance. And part of that is the recognition that every social engagement you have with folks outside your pod, if it is not protected, not at social distance, and not in a mask, you substantially increase your exposure. And while we wait for the full rollout of a vaccine, we are struggling to keep a lid on what's going on right now. So as you know from the press, I'll share my screen again. The vaccine is starting to roll out. We're currently in phase 1B. New York State has a website which you can get to at am-id-eligible.covid19vaccine.health.ny.ny.gov. That's a long mouthful. It is easy to get to this site from Governor Cuomo's site. So rather than suffer trying to remember that long URL, you can just Google Governor Cuomo. You'll get to his page and you can access a lot of useful information, including this website, See If I Am Eligible. That allows you to enter the information below, and you will then get a report as to whether you are eligible to get a vaccine in the current phase. So the current phases are still rather limited. Phase 1B has added teachers and police officers, fire departments, first responders of various sorts. You can also find the entire list of what categories are included in each of the phases, again, on Governor Cuomo's site, and I encourage you to do so. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes to try to figure out how to get millions and millions of doses fabricated, shipped to locations, and made available. I can report that I've talked to Sal DeLeo at Pleasantville Pharmacy, and he anticipates the possibility that when this is all fully rolled out, Pleasantville Pharmacy may be in a position to deliver vaccines. That is not clear yet, nor is it available yet. They continue to have available on an appointment basis testing. But what was certainly made clear in the county call today that the municipalities had with County Executive Latimer and his team is that the business at the moment of working your way through the web navigation to get an appointment if you're in a group that is able to receive a vaccine right now requires some patience. All these systems are struggling to ramp up to scale. But what is also clear is that under no circumstances does it serve anybody's purposes to just show up at any of the possible sites because you will not be accommodated. It seems that the Westchester County Center, which was set up back last spring as a field hospital, is going to be a center down the road of vaccine distribution. But again, all this is a work in progress. So I do encourage folks to go to the governor's website, and you can read about all aspects of this, including the statewide statistics. So let me share my screen one more time. This is our village website, pleasantville-ny.gov. Familiar to anyone who's been there before, but if you scroll down in the left column, quick links, here is the link for the Westchester County COVID-19 dashboard, and I encourage you to get to that information here. It's a quick and easy way, but it would be great news if lots of folks bookmarked that dashboard and took a look at it on a daily basis, because painfully all of us are seeing these numbers on a daily basis, and the numbers are frankly alarming. So please take a look. Next on my list of announcements, also in the quick links here in the left column, is the police reform and reinvention effort. As lots of you know, we've said repeatedly in the past, the Governor Cuomo issued an executive order that required every municipality in New York State that has a police department to undertake an effort to consider a reform and to file a report and some recommendations by April 1. We're in the midst of that process, and I've had 3 forums so far via Zoom. They are all here, available to you if you want to watch a video or rewatch a video if you participated. The first was just a general meeting with stakeholder groups, essentially to say we've reached out to you, stakeholder groups, recognizing that you have contacted lots of other folks, and we hope you'll spread the word. Then we had a general public forum, which was our video 2, and video 3 was a public forum on the use of force and de-escalation. If you click into that, it takes you to the PCTV website, and you can go through all of that. Chief Grutzner provided a very detailed PowerPoint that's available to you to take a look to discuss the use of force. So our next virtual public forum, as you see down here, is Thursday, January 14 at 7:30. Same story as before. That is a Zoom meeting. The subject of that meeting, again, this Thursday at 7:30, is police training and police complaint review processes. Then 2 weeks later, on Thursday, January 28, we have the 5th in our initial series of meetings, which is on the subject of community policing, community outreach, and police communication with the community. So those were the 5 meetings we established at the outset, with the intent that in the month of February, the board would be working through some recommendations. I've said to lots of folks, and I say again, our goal in this is to have some clear and actionable recommendations that we can include in this report by the end of March, but is in no way to suggest that the end of March is the end of our conversation. Lots of good stuff has been surfaced, and it's our hope and expectation that we'll dig into that in the months and years to come, not only to address specific items, but also to make sure that we continue the pathways of communication that we're trying to establish here. So I just encourage anybody who is interested, specifically in the subject of police training and police complaints review process, to tune in at 7:30 this coming Thursday. Again, the Zoom link is available on our website at pleasantville-ny.gov. Chief Grutzner will be making a brief presentation to outline how all of that works now, and then we'll engage in a public conversation. And then lastly, as we mentioned earlier in work session, there have been some folks who have said, I would like to engage some of these subjects. I have some opinions or concerns or questions. I find the Zoom webinar format to be kind of off-putting, and I'd like to have some smaller, perhaps one-to-one conversations. I've had a few of those. I know some of my colleagues have as well. And I just want to encourage anybody or any group that's feeling as though they'd be interested in a discussion that is easier to have happen in a smaller setting, to reach out to any one of us on the board and let us know that. And one or two of us will reach out to you and make sure that you're heard, not only to establish that relationship going forward, but to add whatever thoughts you have to this process now. So anybody have anything to add to that?
Peter, I did add the Zoom link to the center of that page you were just on to make it easier to find. And people can
Right.
also always find it by going to our calendar.
Great.
Peter, I also wanted to add that if anybody knows any Spanish-speaking residents or people who just aren't really aware of anything, to always just remind them that I also am fluent in Spanish. So if they ever wanted to talk and don't understand, some of our Zooms, we don't translate or anything, I'm always available if anyone ever needs anything like that.
That's great. Thank you, Paul. And I mean, that would be a great, obviously, that's a great advantage you offer to our board that will help us reach into a broader cross-section of the community. And so thank you for that. Anything else on police reform?
Well, I'm just wondering, following up on that, would it be a good idea to organize a session with Paul and invite Spanish speakers, sort of a breakout session? What do you think about that, Paul?
I was thinking about that, and also being that I'm an immigration attorney, I think that it kind of goes hand in hand, because there's always a concern with police enforcement and how does that impact immigration status. So I think I can definitely guide a conversation to at least open up different I guess doors of information that we can get out to the rest of the community if people aren't aware of how this will all impact people's immigration status. So absolutely, that's partly what I was about to also say.
All right. Thank you for that. So let's do that. That's great. So I had a few other things to report. One is, as I reported the last time, our task force working on the Pleasantville pool, thinking about how it might be renewed and what it might cost to do it, sent out a survey, and we've got, I think, roughly 1,000 responses, really a great response. Troy Tassier, who's the resident, who's the chair of that task force, is sifting through that along with his other folks. Those guys have been doing really, really good work. Jim Kennedy has been tracking down history of the pool, all kinds of really useful stuff. So they're not quite ready to report how they have sifted out the data from the survey, but that'll be coming to us as we work our way through the winter and into the spring. So I just want people to know that that's ongoing. Also wanted people to know a couple of people had feared that we had decided for some reason not to open the pool this summer. And we'll be sending out an email to folks soon, but I just want to reiterate that none of us know what the future holds regarding COVID, but as it stands right now, it's our full intent to open the pool. It may require that we have some different operational policies depending on where we are with COVID, but as of the moment, it's our intent and expectation that we will open the pool for the summer and have a summer pool season. Obviously, all of that could be upended by what happens in the world of COVID, but we're also cautiously hopeful that the arrival of the vaccine as it starts to make its way available to more and more folks will help with all of that, and come the summer, we can all breathe a little bit easier. It seems rather clear that this problem will not be gone this summer, and it's by no means certain how much better it will be, but we do intend to open the pool as of the moment. Also wanted to point out that today the governor issued his State of the State speech, and more on that is also available at his website, including a full report and a transcript of it. But one of several pieces he pointed out is a number of things that are COVID related, including some legislative goals to improve access to telehealth and insurance standards and all of the above. He also reiterated what all of us expected he would, and that is that they will push in this legislative session towards some form of legalization of marijuana. That has been a subject of discussion all around the county and likely all around the state, but the governor has put that on the table, as I think everybody expected that he would. And so that will be a conversation, with our state legislators and within our communities going forward in the coming months. Our Westchester Municipal Officials Association, of which I'm currently the president, although not for too much longer, is having a session that's specific to the association with a lawyer who is very familiar with these issues. And so all of us are digging into that a bit further. As of the moment, we haven't seen exactly what the governor is going to propose, but the general assumption is that the prototype would be rather similar to what was proposed 2 years ago. Last year, it was on the radar screen and then sort of fell off the radar screen because of the arrival of COVID, which kind of bumped so much stuff off the radar screen. So at any rate, if that's a subject of interest to yours, I encourage you to go to Governor's website, take a look at what he said in the State of the State, and stay tuned for the discussions that are going to take place over the next couple of months. Then lastly, I wanted to report, as David has reported in the past, we have a village election on Tuesday, March 16th. Two trustees, David and Joe, and my term as mayor are up and are up for re-election. The deadline for independent petitions, which had to be filed with the County Board of Elections, is February 9. So again, 3-year terms for two trustees and the mayor. I can report that it is my intention to run again. If the community will have me, I am happy to serve. Anybody else have comments on that subject?
Yes. I also want to let everyone know it's also my intention to run again. I will start the petition process shortly. If anybody else who has not run previously is interested in running and wants to know more, they can contact me, they can contact Eric, anybody on the board, or the Westchester County Board of Elections.
Okay. All right. That, I think, is the list of announcements I had. I'm going to share my screen one more time. I have said this to folks in the past, but I'm going to say it again, and it kind of left it as the takeaway here. New York State has developed a smartphone app called COVID Alert New York. And that app does two different things. One is it provides directly on your phone access to the state statistics. But in addition to that, at your choice, you can allow the app to identify when you may have been exposed to someone who also has the app, who later tests positive. So I encourage you to take a look at this app. It's available on both the Apple App Store and on the Google Play Android Store, available for both platforms. I can report that even if you don't elect to activate the exposure alerts, the availability of the data is useful. And I can report that I have activated the exposure alerts. And if you read the details about how this data is collected and how it might be used, you can make your own choice about it. But it's my assessment, and I certainly made the assessment for myself, that the opportunity potentially to be made aware of an exposure was worth it. So again, if you can get this through the governor's website, but if you simply Google COVID Alert NY, you'll get to that app. All right, I think I've run my course here of things to say. Anybody else have announcements of any kind they wanted to make?
I have one quick one, which is just as we did last month, again this month, we're going to do a brief summary of the things that we're working on for the village, what's happening in the village of Pleasantville. If there are any things any of you in the public would like to include on this list, if it's relevant to the village, let me or Eric know in sort of the next 48 hours, and we'll try to include them. Sawmill River Parkway work, got it.
Right. So again, I remind everybody that we really would very much like folks to sign up for Village News, because that's a mechanism by which you'll get this, but also a mechanism by which you hear about lots of other stuff. So as you also know, the village has started to issue a periodic newsletter called Pleasantville Posts. That's in the left column also at pleasantville-ny.gov. You can take a look at the current and past issues. The next issue is in the works as we speak. Mostly available as a PDF. You'll get it directly in your inbox if you sign up. But we also print a limited number of them, making them available for folks who prefer to get it in that format. So, all right. Anything else before we head to our resolutions? All right. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing on introductory local law 6 of 2020, parking restrictions on Irvington Street?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Welcome to the public hearing, parking restrictions on Irvington Street.
I feel like we should all have a different Zoom background for our public meetings.
All right. Well, you go, Guy. All right, Eric, you want to report?
Sure. So
I can share my screen. Is that useful to show the picture?
yeah, absolutely. So we're introducing introductory local law 6 of 2020, parking restrictions on Irvington Avenue. It's a introductory law of 2020 because that's when the local law was introduced. We received complaints about this condition here at the intersection of Marble Avenue and Irvington Street. As you can see on the south side of the street, right-hand side, those cars parked along the roadway, the shoulder, are limiting the roadway to one lane essentially. So as people are trying to turn out onto Marble Lane while somebody's trying to turn into Irvington Street, it creates a dangerous situation. So we've reached out to Storo, which is the restaurant right adjacent. We've reached out to the Arbin Group. We've reached out to the wine company next door and advised them of this local law. Have heard nothing back in opposition, but we do think that this is the right move. We've referred it to the superintendent of public works as well as the police chief, who are all in agreement with this proposed regulation.
All right. Any comments or questions from the board?
I'm too distracted by David's backgrounds.
And any comments from members of the public on any on this subject?
Steve?
Got one hand up, right? Steve Vesio.
How are you, Mr. Mayor?
I'm good. How are you, Mr. Mayor?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
For those who don't know, Steve, although he has an interest in this subject because of his business life, is our colleague as the mayor of Briarcliff.
Thank you for having me this evening. Thank you for all your service to your community. I've basically lived on Irvington Street for the last 18 years. We have our family business, Laws Construction, on that street at the end. It's technically Mount Pleasant, but I love Pleasantville. I've loved it since I started working there every day back in 2003, probably about 3 years ago. And also, thank you for getting Irvington Street paved. That's awesome. It was a long time coming, so I enjoy that every day. The last few years has been an issue. I'm not sure where it's arising from, of people parking on the end of the street, as you just saw in the photo. And what happens is there is a lot of truck traffic that goes down Irvington to get to the businesses on the end, Prospero. There's some parking yards down there as well. And with the cars parked there, you kind of have to go around them. And trucks especially can't get onto Irvington Street from Marble. So then Marble Ave backs up, and then it kind of forces them to let us out. It's pretty dangerous. It's been a little bit better, actually, since the pandemic, with the Grit Ninja not being so busy and the nightclub. But I imagine when those do open back up, it's going to be pretty back to crazy on that street. It's been very busy on that road in the last year. I took a look at your local code. I know that you have the north side being regulated, which I think is,
we updated that to reflect the south side.
Okay. You may want to also consider doing the north side, because my feeling is that when you restrict the parking on one side, they may just start parking on the other. And, you'll have to do this again. Irvington Street is narrower where it meets Marble Ave. Once you get down into Irvington a bit, it kind of widens out and there's room to park cars. But
let me just go back to the picture here. your fear is that cars may start parking here.
Yeah.
Is that unregulated at the moment, Eric?
Yes.
So that, I mean, we could easily just export this problem to this side, right? I mean, obviously there are some curb cuts here that reduce the number of possibilities, but
That's right.
I mean, that might suggest that we should simply, I mean, what we're saying, 118 feet from the corner, which is give or take what sort of the length of the side yard of Tesoro d'Italia.
That's right.
Per Steve's comments, would that suggest that it might be wise to prohibit parking on both sides for that first 118 feet?
We could. I mean, we can pass this local law, monitor, and then propose another local law as we deem it necessary.
All right. I mean, it certainly, I mean, I think we have this on the agenda to pass tonight, assuming we don't decide otherwise in this public hearing. So it probably suggests that it would be prudent to do that. But per Steve's comments, it sounds to me like it very likely would make sense to do the same thing on the other side. So, all right. So thank you for that good thought.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you all for serving your community.
And thank you for serving yours.
No problem.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
All right. Is any comments from the board or any other member of the public on the subject of parking on Irvington Street? There being none, is there a motion to close the public hearing? Come on. Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Public hearing is closed. All right. So we have a small list of resolutions. Before we go to that, let me invite any member of the public who has anything to say on any other subject. Raise your hand in the participants box. We'd be happy to hear if there is any comment.
Can't find the.
All right. There being none.
Helen wanted to say something. No.
Oh, Helen.
We do.
Yeah.
Hello, Helen.
Hello, I couldn't find a hand waving thing.
All right. Welcome.
All right. Hello. I just wanted to.
So just to be clear, we need your name and address, even though we know.
Sorry. Helen Muir, 3 Hayes Hill Road, Pleasantville.
Thank you.
I just wanted to mention, I brought up the Sawmill River Parkway in the comments that David took under consideration for discussing. And it was just because somebody had written to the Examiner and then post on Facebook that they were concerned about the environmental impacts. So I didn't know if you'd had any inquiries from either the DOT or the DEC about coming back after the public comment time was up, which was the 7th.
So you're referring to a letter from Gibby Craig, which was in the Examiner on January 4.
Yeah.
The public comment period was extended was January 7.
Yeah.
So that deadline has passed. We'll see what came of it. His concern is whether this has unintended environmental effects. We will be interested to hear from DOT and DEC about what they think about all that. I'm guessing that certainly the impression I have had so far is that they believe that to the extent that it is possible to mitigate 100 years of bad stuff, that this may actually be beneficial. Gibby is obviously concerned that may not be the case. Do you have a view on that, Helen?
I think I was, in reading their note, I was concerned about the lack of planning for any mitigation. It didn't seem to include, they suggested, any stream restoration or noise abatement, which were the two of the major things. And there was a third thing. And so I felt a little bit foolish, actually, because I had not even thought about whether there was an environmental review or not. And I understand that, in fact, the DOT rarely has a project that requires one, because it seems to me they probably classify them all as class 2, which is, I can guess it means maintenance and repair on the road. But class 2 means no CEQA required.
Yeah. So we'll ping DOT and see what comment they got by that January deadline and let folks know. The short version of a very long story, a multi-decade story, is that the project is essentially raising a section of the sawmill on kind of a low bridge. It's been thought of for a very long time and believed to be a means of addressing the flooding that occurs in that low area of the sawmill between Marble Avenue and Grant Street. And I'll be interested to see how they respond to whatever those comments were. But based on what I know of it so far, I don't think that the project makes the environmental conditions worse. The question is whether they miss an opportunity to make it better. And of course, whether the impact of the construction and, the staging areas and all get properly restored, right?
Right, but also they mentioned that the elevation of the highway might create more, or expected to create more noise to residents, and whether there needed to be some kind of sound barrier. I just bring this up because I read the article, but I don't. Peter, are the plans available on the village website or accessible? I didn't realize it. So they're raising the road as a viaduct.
Essentially, fair to say, Eric?
Yeah, they're putting pylons in and raising the road. Yep.
But it's my understanding that the roadway would not be that much higher. I mean, it would be a little bit higher, but it's not like it's a very high bridge,
Right.
It's just going to be raised to a certain level, maybe a little higher than where we were, maybe, a couple of feet higher. That's all.
6 feet, they said he said.
Okay.
I don't think it's 6 feet.
Okay.
6 feet higher than it is now? No.
Right. And what are they replacing any bridges, or is it just elevated?
Well, no, I mean, it's complicated because, of course, a couple of years ago, there was this project to replace bridges that
under the bridge.
They don't really read as bridges to the passerby, but there are a couple of areas of the sawmill that particularly under the Pleasantville Road Bridge, for example, which are actually themselves on a bridge. So I do not think that, I think Joe is right that this is a very modest change in height, but so
okay.
We'll dig up.
They'll be supported, I think, by peers, so that hopefully it won't settle anymore. That's the big issue. So.
And Helen, the state has a project site. I'll dig it up and send it to you.
And honestly, why don't we just post that on the website as a link so that anyone who's interested can get to it?
Sure.
I mean, Eric, the height increase is nowhere near 6 feet, right?
I think it's somewhere in the range of 3 to 5 feet.
And it varies across, 3 to 5 feet relative to the changing topography there. So anyway, it'd be worth the public having quick access to that link. So, all right. Thank you, Helen.
Yeah,
more on that later.
Helen, if somebody, Eric or Helen or whatever, writes up just a couple lines on that, we'll include it in the update that we're going to send out this week.
Yeah, it's worth including in the update, not only because of that, but also because folks are substantially inconvenienced by this one lane condition that's going to exist for a good long while. So,
right.
All right. Anybody else on any other subject?
Do I get to talk later when you talk about the Nanahagan Pond restoration?
To the
Further down the agenda.
signing the agreement.
Yeah.
Sure. The sawmill watershed stuff.
Yeah. I just want to
sure.
ask the question. Yeah.
All right. Hold that thought and we'll invite you back. All right. Okay. This is resolution number 1 of
Wow.
of 2020. All right, that would be you, Paul Alvarez.
Okay, ready to start the year. One of many, right?
I'll share my screen here so folks can follow along.
Okay, thank you.
There we go.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following partial stipends for services performed in support of the 2020 Pleasantville Music Festival, which was canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Is there a second?
Names.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
Did you want me to read it? I should read
Yes,
the
I
names.
do want you to read that. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Jumping the gun here.
No problem. Bruce Figler, Executive Director, $4,950. Scott Campbell, Soups on Entertainment, Talent Buyer, $2,000. And Andy Goodman, Creative Consultation and Website, $600. Stu Advanced Designs, Design Director, $400. Andy Sullivan, Promotions and Sponsorship, $200.
Is there a second?
Second.
So these 5 folks receive a stipend for their work associated with the music festival. They did a lot of work associated with the 2020 Music Festival that ultimately had to be canceled. And with that, we propose to pay them partial stipends, reflecting that they did some of the work, but the rug got pulled out from under the festival. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Nicole, number 2.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby accepts the donation of electrical supplies with a declared value of $850 from Harry Borg.
Is there a second?
Second.
So I know lots of Pleasantville folks know Harry Borg and indeed know the Borg family, talk about a long and rich history in the village of Pleasantville. Harry's father was a dentist and in the end ended up a core piece of our community for decades. Harry and his brother Charles are electricians. Harry has decided to wind down his business, and in so doing is offering to give us all the stuff that he bought and has used annually for the music festival when we engage Borg Electric to handle the electrical work. So a little bit of a long report for this, but part of what I mean to say is thank you, Harry Borg, for not only all you have done for us and the many services you have provided, the great work Borg Electric has done for us, but also for that rich history that the Borg family has in the village of Pleasantville, as I have said to lots of folks, and can say now in this context, since Borg Electric is closing down and it doesn't turn into a plug for a commercial entity. If Borg Electric says it's right, it is. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Number 3, Joe.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby accepts a donation from Andrew Tobin in the amount of $50 to the Clinton Street Center Senior Recreation Programs.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. As always, we continue to get a flow of contributions from appreciative folks. Thank you, Andrew Tobin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion
Aye.
approved. Number 4, David.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the minutes of the regular meeting held on December 28th, 2020 attached.
And as I have commented in the past, if you click into our Novus agenda, which is what we're showing you on the screen right now, available to the public, you can click into these minutes. Any of these blue things are live links, and not only see the minutes, but also the transcript that Zoom creates. Any comments or corrections to the minutes?
Did Matt Trainer actually say "so man"?
That's the pain of the Zoom transcript. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Back to you, Paul.
Resolved, the Board of Trustee hereby appoints Helly Shah to the job title of Deputy Village Treasurer, job title code 0070, at the salary of $85,000. Said appointment is subject to probationary period of no less than 12 weeks to a maximum of 52 weeks.
Is there a second?
Second.
Eric, you want to comment on this new arrival to our team?
Sure. Helly comes to us from the city of Newburgh, where she's a senior accountant in their controller's office. She comes highly recommended from Pierre Municipality. One of our colleagues who worked closely with her at the city of Newburgh recommended her. Went through a exhaustive search for a deputy treasurer. Ultimately, very fortunate to find her. So she will be starting with us January 19th. We wish Noreen McGinty, the departing deputy treasurer, nothing but the best, and look forward to getting a new member of the team.
Thank you for that. Welcome, Helly, to what is a very, very well-run treasurer department. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Aye.
approved. Nicole, number 6.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves Helly Shaw, Deputy Village Treasurer, as an authorized signatory for financial transactions at all depositories.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Self-explanatory. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Joe, number 7.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the abstract for payment of claims dated January 11, 2021 for fiscal year 2021, covering checks number 99171 through 99317 from the general fund, $287,307.37. From the water fund, $142,771.53. From the refuse fund, $15,664.71, totaling $445,743.61.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? As always, members of the public can click into the payment of claims and see, as we do, the line items. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Number 8, David.
Resolve the Board of Trustees in support of the goals and objectives of the Sawmill River Watershed Memorandum of Agreement and 5-year action plan authorizes the village administrator to sign the letter of commitment to the following local actions within the next 24 months. Reintroduce and continue to introduce over the course of 5 years native plant species with the cooperation of the Pleasantville Conservation Advisory Committee at Nanahagan Park. To date, numerous projects have taken place recently to remove invasive, restore healthy vegetation, and rehabilitate the walking path within the property. Various fish species may also be stocked into the pond as appropriate. 2, continue to monitor and attempt to improve the overall water flow of the pond and stream through Nanahagan Park. And 3, flooding, monthly stream checks from Cornell Street to just south of Marble Avenue to ensure no debris or blockage has occurred.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I'll come off the share and invite Helen Muir back. She indicated that she had a couple of comments to make.
Hi, Helen Muir, 3 Hazel Road, Pleasantville. I was surprised to see this on the agenda and pleased, obviously, but I'm not sure about how this is a continuing project. I feel like the CASCA has not been directly involved with the village in making any movement forward. Although we have planted 105 trees and 115 trees and shrubs back in October. But just a concern about some other things about the pond. At some point, the silt sediment traps need to be evaluated and maybe dredged. That was part of the plan going forward after the pond was renovated, which is now maybe 20 years ago. It's a long time.
I think it's probably even more like 25 years ago.
Right. And there was supposed to be, the sediment traps were supposed to be checked periodically. And Also, I wonder if water quality can be included in that, like some kind of water sampling. And why is it just the sawmill? Why is it just Nanahagan Pond and not other places in the village?
So Eric can comment. And this is part of a Sawmill River watershed initiative initiated at the county level, right?
Yep.
And they reached out to us, as they have, I assume, to every community in the watershed, asking for commitments of various kinds. If I got that right, Eric?
Yeah, that's right. So
Matt put this together, right?
Yep, taking a lot out of the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. So, I mean, obviously, our initiatives at Nanahagan Pond or throughout the village are not just limited to these three commitments. But this is what Matt has identified as, things that we can certainly commit to in the next 5 years. Not to say the other items that you mentioned are out of the question. I mean, certainly Nanahagan Pond, as we look at the pool, we'll certainly talk about dredging and what the value in doing so. But this is just the start of the conversation.
All right. Now, I'm not suggesting that the pond needs to be dredged, but do the sediment traps need to be checked? I'd prefer it to stay as natural as possible, not some, backhoed.
Yeah, but I mean, the sediment traps, as I understand it, are essentially, when the pond was dredged many years ago, they create sort of a deep gully at the point of which, at the inflow.
Yeah.
So that silt that is carried by the brook that feeds the pond is captured there, and eventually it has to be dug out.
Right.
That painfully is, I think, almost certainly you're right, that needs to happen. But that's a backhoe business, I think, right?
Yeah, it also involves a lowering of the pond at some point. So just asking to include the CAC if that comes up for discussion.
We will.
So, Helen, I didn't know that you guys Matt hadn't reached out to you guys, but my understanding is that these are sort of pledges that are made in the context of a larger county project, but not a kind of blueprint for our plan for the village per se.
That's right. And to be honest, our commitments are extremely more detailed than some of the other participating municipalities. So, obviously we'll sit down, we'll have Matt engage with the CAC and talk about other initiatives that we can add to it.
Okay. No, I'm happy to put it on the agenda. Just, a bit surprised.
All right. Thank you for that comment. I'll go back to sharing my screen. Okay. So we had a second on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Number 9. Are we back to Paul?
Yep.
Right.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to sign an independent contractor services agreements with Student Assistance Services in support of the Drug-Free Communities grant-funded Pleasantville Strong for Youth Prevention Coordinator for the period of September 30th, 2020 through September 29th, 2021, and technical assistance and evaluation services for the period of January 1st, 2021 through September 29th, 2021.
Is there a second?
Second.
Eric, you want to describe?
Sure. So SAS is a third-party consultant that all of these coalitions engage with in Westchester to help with the technical side and evaluation side. So we are fortunate to have Nicole, who used to be the coalition coordinator for Pleasantville Strong, has now actually gotten a full-time job with SAS and will be our point of contact moving forward. So this is that group, again, provides resources to all of these coalitions throughout Westchester for the contracted price in this agreement.
Okay. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then the last on our list, Nicole.
Whereas introductory local law 6 of 2020 has been introduced to amend chapter 173, article 7, section 60 of the Code of the Village of Pleasantville concerning parking on Irvington Street. And whereas a public hearing concerning introductory local law 6 of 2020 was held and closed on January 11th, 2021. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville hereby adopts local law 1 of 2021. And the law is attached.
Is there a second?
Second.
So further discussion with Steve Vesio in the public hearing. It might be that we ought to expand this to include the north side as well as the south side. But for the moment, we will proceed with that which was presented publicly, because if we expanded it, we'd have to go back again and start over. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. All right,
Aye.
that's the end of our list for this first meeting of 2021. Anybody have any new business, or is there a comment of any kind on any subject? Comments from the public? There being none. So I want to thank you all. This is our first meeting in the new year 2021. It's certainly our fervent wish that 2021 turns out to be a little bit smoother sailing than 2020 was for each and every one of us. Please be careful. Please recognize the COVID risk. Please look after your fellow Pleasantvillean. And if you're interested, please join us this coming Thursday, the 14th at 7:30, Zoom link at pleasantville-ny.gov for the next in our series of police reform discussions. Absent that, we will be back again at our next regular meeting on Monday, January 25. Work session at 7 p.m., regular session at 8 p.m. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all and good night.
Bye, guys.
Night.
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 Good night.